Today, again, I just want to remind us of the core concept here of whenever we do what we're about to do, we are growing new neural pathways. Um, the fancy term for that is self-directed brain plasticity training. And really, it's just a fancy way of saying we stimulate a certain part of our brain to have a certain subjective experience. And the more we do that, the more the brain says, okay, got it, that's the new normal. So let me get better and better at that. Let me sort of reinforce the wiring that makes that happen. And so today I want to focus on attention training. But if you think about it, attention is a kind of superpower. And when we struggle with anxiety or depression, what is oftentimes happening is that our attention is just being sort of jerked around by other forces, by circumstance, by our mood, by, low blood sugar or whatever it might be. Our mind is kind of all over the place. And a lot of it, I like to think of attention as this, you go into a dark room and you have this flashlight and you're shining it around. There's a very limited amount of things that you can see because the beam of the flashlight is so narrow. And so just like with that flashlight, our attention does the same thing. It gets very focused on some sort of very myopic themes. And when we're struggling with anxiety and depression, well, they're usually about worry and sadness and fear and things like that. So there are two aspects of attention that I want to introduce here. The first one is focus. So focus has to do with, just that, like that, how wide or narrow is that beam of the flashlight, right? It could be really wide, in which case you see a whole bunch of stuff, but not really in a lot of clarity. Or you could narrow the focus and really zero in on just one specific thing and keep it there. And then the other piece is concentration. So how long can I maintain that focus, right? So most of us are able to, if I said Eiffel Tower right now, we could all probably in our mind focus on an image of the Eiffel Tower for a brief period of time. But sustaining that over a longer period of time becomes trickier and trickier because our mind wants to wander and focus on other things, right? So focus and concentration are two concepts to that we'll be focusing on here. Let me see if there are other people that are trying to get in. Delilah, if you're on, I don't know if you can manage that. Looks like someone else was trying to get in. Okay, so focus and concentration. So back to this flashlight idea. When we're feeling depressed and anxious, what is offered up to our attention oftentimes is all of these things that are flashing up on the screen, and they're really uncomfortable. And they are kind of being served up to us, and we can feel quite helpless when we're on the receiving end of that. It just feels like, oh man, here's all these, these experiences that are coming at me. And so what we want to learn how to do is we want to flip the script on that and say, I want to learn how to harness my attention. So learn how to focus on something of my choosing, and then maintain that focus on that experience or that object that I'm choosing, right? It's self-directed neuroplasticity after all. And then that actually dictates the subjective experience that I'm having. So when we feel anxious or sad or scared, to be able to take a step back, and we'll do this in a second, close our eyes, and then steer our attention towards something that is more pleasant for us. And the more frequently we do that, the easier that becomes. So today we're going to focus on someone we love, and we're going to try to focus on the experience of loving them. Who they are, can see in our mind's eye what they do, maybe memories of what they've done. And I really want you to focus as much as possible on the embodied experience, right? All of these practices become especially relevant to our neuroplastic changes when we have a really strong sense of what it feels like in our body to have the experience. So, so let's start by just closing your eyes. Let's get grounded first, get present. So notice yourself in the car, like Anahita or wherever you might be, and start bringing your attention inward. And one way of doing that is to just notice the location of your body in space and time right now. So it's sitting in a chair, your feet are on the ground, your hands may be on your lap, or your hands may be on a, by your side. Notice that your back is probably resting against the back of the chair. Oftentimes when we sit, we don't notice any of these things. It's just our attention is elsewhere. So right now, bring your attention to that experience of just sitting in this moment, right here, right now. And then we can layer in the awareness that our body's breathing. Our belly's expanding and contracting, and our chest is expanding and contracting. So while we're sitting in this chair, grounded in this moment, all that's happening is our body's breathing. And you'll probably notice that when I take longer pauses, that your mind will start wandering. And that's totally normal. It's okay. When you notice that happening, just bring your attention, your focus back to the experience of your body sitting in the chair, breathing. Now I want you to add into this equation the thought of or thoughts of someone that you love. It can be in the present moment, or it could be a memory of someone that you really loved. And I want you to imagine yourself being in their presence, so maybe bringing up a memory of being with them. Maybe you're having a conversation with them, or sitting at a table sharing a meal. Doesn't really matter, as long as it's your memory of someone that you love. And see if you can really amplify all the details of that memory. As you're doing that, begin to pay extra attention to the felt sense in your body. So see if you can focus your attention on this memory, and then notice how it impacts your body. As you're thinking about this person and why they're the person that you chose, because you love them or because they're kind and caring towards you. Again, notice where in your body do you feel that love for them. And see if you can concentrate on that experience. So maintain your focus on that experience and just hold it there. And again, when your mind wanders, totally normal. It's not a big deal. Simply notice and say, "Oh, right. My mind tends to think of things in the future and the past. But right now my goal is to focus in this present moment on what it's like to have the memory of interacting with someone that I really love." And look for the telltale signs that this person is someone that you really love in your body. So notice how it feels in your jaw, in your throat, in your shoulders, in your chest, in your belly, in your hands. This is the imprint that their love leaves on your body. And take it in. And as your mind drifts away from this memory, it's okay. Just notice it and bring it right back to the sensations in your body, back to the imagery of this wonderful person whom you love. And just bring all of your attention into that memory and that experience and hold it there. Now we're going to start wrapping up, but in order to do so, I want you to really intentionally switch the focus of your attention on your breath now. So we're moving away from the memory of the person that we love, and we're going to intentionally focus on our breath. So take a deep, intentional inhale and notice what happens to your belly and your chest and your shoulders and your throat. Keep your attention on your breath as you exhale. Again, noticing all those different parts of your body and how they're changing. Take another deep inhalation, maintaining your focus and your concentration on your body, breathing. And just allow your body to breathe on its own, but keep your attention there. And you know what to do if your mind wanders, just bring it back. Noticing yourself breathing. And now take a deep, intentional inhalation, filling up your lungs and your belly. A long exhale, letting out the CO2. Take another deep breath in. Exhaling all the way, and go ahead and open your eyes. And come back into the room. So this is an example. Again, this is something you can practice several times a day if you want. And the things that I really want to emphasize here that we were practicing is, first and foremost, the self-directed part, right? We get to choose where we're focusing our attention. And we started off by choosing to focus on someone we love. Actually, we started off by focusing on our body sitting in the chair, right? So we put all of our attention there. Then we made the choice and said, now focus on what it feels like to have a memory of someone that we love. And then we switched and focused on our breath. And so this kind of attentional control, I literally want you to think of it as this is the flashlight of your mind shining on objects of your choosing, rather than it being jerked around by thoughts that kind of come out of nowhere or just are overwhelming you all day long. You get to intentionally close your eyes, ground yourself, and make the choice and say, okay, at least for the next few minutes, I'm going to choose what I want to focus on, and then maintain that focus by concentrating on it. That does amazing things to our neurocircuitry. And the more we do it, the better we get at it. So hoping this was helpful. All right, that's that's 15 minutes. I'm going to stick around for Q&A if anyone has any questions about what we just did. If not, I hope to see you tomorrow, same time, same place. And Keep up the good work. Thanks for participating.
Thank you, Ollie.
You're welcome.